Hi everyone, Lisa Haven here. Well, if the COVID-19 pandemic, the massive economic crisis that we're now all facing, and the cancel culture that has infested not only America, but European countries wasn't enough for you guys, how about a tip of the iceberg? And that is the potential for World War III. A lot of things are happening right now on a global scale that you truly need to be aware of. But before I get into the report, just a quick break. So are you making full use of your savings? Think about the time that you've yearned for better returns. After real inflation, charges, and taxes, are you even making a profit? With food, clothing, and rent all more than doubling over the past 10 years, it's truly time that you did something different. Gambling on Robinhood or stocks might just lose you the lot. Is it truly worth the risk? Like thousands of other people, you want retirement to be stress-free. That's why a precious metals IRA with Noble Gold Investments at noblegoldinvestments.com just might be your answer. And this month, Noble Gold Investments is gifting something very genuine. And I have it right here. It's this rare Carson City minted Morgan silver dollar. And I'll kind of hold it in the camera there so you can see both sides of it. But this thing is very genuine and unique. And it comes with any qualifying IRA or 401k. In fact, these coins were around when an ounce of silver was worth $1. To give you an example, an 1893 coin in mint condition today is now worth $3,250. That is a literal increase of over 325,000%. I mean, that's massive. That's a return of over 2,500% a year. That's pretty huge. And that just goes to show the power of long-term investment in precious metals. So get in touch with the experts over at noblegoldinvestments.com today. Do not hesitate because you never know what the economy holds. Now, you can either go to their website at noblegoldinvestments.com or give them a call at 1-877-646-5347. The number's also on the screen. But let them know that you heard it on Lisa Haven. Anyhow, thanks again. Back with the show. All right, so let's take a look at what is going on a global scale and how things could escalate into World War III, something that we absolutely do not need right now. But take a look at this first article here, and this is on AmericanMilitaryNews.com. Videos, Russian military is mounting massive force of tanks, helicopter, and troops on Ukraine's border. Now, the article goes on to state that this week, witnesses have been capturing dozens of videos of Russian military vehicles moving through Russia-occupied Crimea and Ukraine. Convoys of military vehicles have been seen on roadways, while trail loads of tanks and other armed vehicles have also been spotted along with Russian military helicopters flying overhead. Now, here are just some of those videos that have leaked out, and I'm going to just kind of forward through some of them here, but you can see the massive buildup of military going on here and the equipment that they've been sending. Here's another one here showing, the trains with all the equipment there, and this goes on for quite some time. This is at least a 2-minute video showing buildup in the area, and they're being leaked by I would say there's a good 50-60 of them out on the internet now. And here's another one. This is just showing the train movement there of more military force coming into the area, but military movement near Crimea. Russia is moving tanks and other military vehicles, and this is all very recent, folks, and coming out more and more. Now, why is this important? Well, good question. First of all, let me say this. The Russian troop movements coincide with new fighting between Russia and Ukraine in recent days. The two countries have been fighting in low-intensity conflict with occasional spikes in violence since 2014 when Russia invaded the annexed Crimea from Ukraine's control. Now, here's another thing that I haven't really heard the mainstream media talking about, and that's this article. As Russian tanks move toward Ukraine, the globe braces for possibility that World War III could soon erupt. Now, in this article, Michael Schneider points out something that I think everybody needs to know. But basically, as it turns out, Ukraine's president essentially signed a declaration of war against Russia on March 24th. The document that he signed is known as Decree number 117 over 2021, and you won't read anything about that, of course, in corporate media. Now, I've got the decree, and I had to translate it for you, but here's the decree, and this is on Ukraine's website here, and I'll leave the link in the description box below. And because I don't use Google search engine, I had to translate this through the Google Translate in order to show it. But basically, you just copy all the text, and I'll recopy it for you so you guys know that it's legit. And I'm going to paste it in there so you guys can see the direct translation. But here it is. And again, this comes directly from their government website, right? But here's what Google Translate says. In accordance with Article 107 of the Constitution of Ukraine, they say, number one, put into effect the decision of National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine as of March 11, 2021, on the strategy of deoccupation and reintegration of the temporarily occupied territory of the Autonomous Republic of Crimea, right? And they also want to approve, number two, the strategy of deoccupation and reintegration of the temporary occupied Crimea, right? And three, control over the implementation of decisions of the National Security and Defense Council of Ukraine enacted by this decree. And four, the decree shall enter into force on the day of blah, 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 March 24th. Basically, this decree makes it official policy of the government of Ukraine, their official policy, to retake Crimea from Russia, right? Why is this really important to the United States of America? Well, for that, let's get on over to this article. Now, this was published just recently on March 31st, so not that very long ago, just a couple of days ago. But U.S. military raises Europe threat level to potential imminent crisis, says report. And the report goes on to say this. U.S. officials told New York Times that it has been a favored Russian tactic to use military drills near Ukraine's border to send a message to both the Ukrainian government and, there's an and in there, other Western nations. Currently, the former U.S. military officials said that the latest Russian troop deployment could also be a way for Vladimir Putin to gauge the Biden administration's commitment to Ukraine, right? This could be posturing by the Kremlin, who is testing the new administration. That would be sleepy, incoherent Joe Biden. And that's according to the U.S. Army Lieutenant General, the former commanding general of the U.S. Army Europe. You know, here's the thing. Things are now escalating. They're escalating between Russia and Ukraine. And why is that important to us here in the U.S.? Because it's posturing to see how the U.S. is going to respond. Because, as they said here, to gauge our commitment to Ukraine, because we obviously have commitments to Ukraine. Now, here's another article talking about some things that are going on. Ukraine troops are now being fired upon by grenade launchers and machine guns as Russian forces race toward the border. This was put out yesterday. Now, Michael Schneider found this on an actual Ukraine website, and here it is. It's the official website of the Ukraine military, and here's the official website of the Ukraine military. Once again, I have copied this information here, and I'll do it again so you guys know what I'm copying here, and I'm just going to redo it here in Google Translate so you guys can see the translation here. But at the very top, during the past 24 hours on March 31st, in the area of the Joint Force Operation, the Armed Forces of Russia Federation violated a ceasefire 5 times. In the area of responsibility of the Operation and Tactical Group East near the settlements of those two, in that certain region, the occupiers opened fire with grenade launchers in various systems, large caliber machine guns, and small arms. Right? In the area of responsibility of the Operation and Tactical Group North, near the settlement of that particular area, the invaders fired at our positions with automatic machine gun and handheld anti-tank grenade launchers, large caliber machine guns and machine guns. Right? And so far it says there are no combat losses among the servicemen of armed forces of Ukraine. So things are getting really blowing up. And this is, and you know, there's also tensions now between China and Japan. It's not just other countries. I'll show you this article real quick, just kind of sidetracking. This is on Zero Hedge. China issues rare strong warning to Japan as disputed island escalates, right? The incident escalates. But basically, we can't add another log to the fire, so to speak, in our already hurt society. And let me be very frank with you. I think what's going on in the United States of America is destabilization. Right now, we have international countries. I think both Russia and China are instigating the United States of America's social media and our platforms in order to destabilize us and make us constantly fight, ergo the cancel culture, ergo critical race theory training, and all of that, getting us so destabilized from within that eventually it's really easy to take us over. Now, I'm going to play this clip because this is from the Dan Bongino show. And the reason why I want to show it to you is because it's a KGB agent, a video of a KGB agent, and he talks about how they can destabilize, right? And this is exactly what's going on in the United States of America, leaving us vulnerable, right? And open to other countries, and basically we're destabilizing ourselves and we're fresh for takeover. But take a listen to what he says here.
If you haven't watched this video, I've seen it probably 100 times, but a friend of mine reminded me last night about it. Here he describes exactly what ideological subversion is. He talks about here how the United States is slowly being eaten alive from the inside through brainwashing in 4 stages. And he goes into the first stage here, the demoralization of the population of the United States, by getting them demoralized, by sicking them on each other through race wars, identity politics, anti-patriotism. Not only should you not love your country, but you should hate it.
Yep.
Listen to him explain exactly how this happens. Check this out.
What it basically means is...
Now, I'm going to play this next clip, but he's absolutely right. This is infiltration from other countries here in the United States of America to make us ripe for takeover, ripe for war, or ripe for whatever, fill in the blank. Okay, but here is what he has to say.
To change the perception of reality of every American to such an extent that despite of the abundance of information, no one is able to come to sensible conclusions in the interests of defending themselves, their families, their community, and their country.
Cancel culture.
It's a great brainwashing process which goes very slow, and it's divided in 4 basic stages. The first one being demoralization. It takes from 15 to 20 years to demoralize a nation.
Check.
Why that many years? Because this is the minimum number of years which requires to educate one generation of students in the country of your enemy, exposed to the ideology of the enemy. In other words, Marxism-Leninism ideology is being pumped into the soft heads of at least 3 generations of American students without being challenged or counterbalanced by the basic values of Americanism, American patriotism.
And that's true. They have taken over our education system and all of that and been pushing Marxist ideology. But keep listening.
The result you can see. Most of the people who graduated in the 60s, dropouts or half-baked intellectuals, are now occupying the positions of power in the government, civil service, business, mass media, educational system. You are stuck with them. You cannot get rid of them. They are contaminated. They are programmed to think and react to certain stimuli in a certain pattern.
Program.
Now you may say to yourself,
there you have it. Programmed to think a certain way. Isn't this exactly what's happening in the United States of America when we have the AOCs and Bernie Sanders of the world and Joe Biden's literally putting forth things that make no sense whatsoever? There is no end in sight, because they've been programmed via the education system to think on certain ways and ideologies. And guess what, folks? These are KGB style things in the United States of America, the Marxist communist style policies. And now this, with war breaking out, when we're already destabilized here in the United States of America. I don't know, but that's probably one of the most powerful clips. That's why I had to play it in today's report to get it to you guys. We'll share this video with everybody you know, get the word out so we can start waking people up to not only this ideology, but maybe we can save our country from chaos that is around us. Anyhow, I love all of you. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.